Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going deep today on a really cool topic. It's artificial intelligence and how it connects with Islam.
And it's a hot topic right now too, right? I mean, AI is everywhere.
Absolutely. So we found this video that asks a pretty big question. Can AI be halal or haram?
I mean, it's something created by us, so can it fit into Islamic guidelines? Super interesting.
It is, and this video doesn't just like theorize. It goes into how AI is already being used by Muslims, like in education business, even fatwas, which
Yeah.
is wild.
Yeah, it really gets you thinking.
Okay, so the video kicks off by defining AI, those machines that can basically think like humans, learn, and even make decisions.
Right, like mimic how our brains work.
Exactly. But then it throws this curveball. If Allah is the source of all knowledge in Islam, can AI ever really grasp that?
That's the core issue, right?
Yeah.
In Islam, knowledge from Allah is revealed. It's absolute, so can a machine really understand that? Even with fancy algorithms.
Big question. So the video breaks it down to three areas, starting with education. And they had these examples of AI apps that help Muslims memorize the Quran and learn Arabic.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of those. They're pretty popular.
Right. Some even use like games and stuff to make it fun.
Makes it way more engaging.
But then the video gets into the ethics. Can AI ever interpret the Quran?
Right, because it's a divine message meant for us, not for machines.
Exactly. And they even quote Surah Al-Alaq 96.1, read in the name of your Lord who created, emphasizing that human element.
That personal connection with the Quran.
Yeah, it's a journey, not just data.
That's a good way to put it.
So AI might help you memorize, but that deeper meaning needs a human touch.
I agree.
Okay, so moving on. The video then goes into business, and the potential of AI in Islamic finance is kind of mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah.
Like imagine apps that automatically make sure your investments are halal.
Or like zakat calculators that do all the work for you.
Exactly, but then the video brings up these AI trading bots and whether they actually follow Islamic rules.
Yeah, you got to think about riba, which is interest, and garar, which is too much uncertainty. Some AI tools might cross the line without meaning to.
Totally. Islamic finance has very specific ethics. It's not just about profit, it's about doing it the right way.
And the video lays those out really well. You have to follow Sharia finance. No deceiving people or taking advantage, and always having a human be responsible even when AI is involved.
So we can't just let algorithms make all the ethical calls.
Exactly. We have to make sure AI is actually lining up with Islamic values. Just because it can do something doesn't mean it should.
Okay, so that's education and business, but now the video goes into the deep end. AI and issuing fatwas, those Islamic legal rulings.
Whoa, okay, yeah, that's a huge one.
Can you imagine AI giving fatwas?
It's a big debate, and the video gets into it. Could AI look at tons of Islamic texts and find answers to really tough questions? Some people think it could be super helpful for scholars.
But the video also points out the problems, right? AI doesn't have taqwa, that God consciousness, and it doesn't have itihad, which is that deep scholarly reasoning.
Those are crucial for giving Islamic rulings.
And then there's context. AI is not great at that, but human scholars consider all the details, the culture, the time period when making a ruling.
Right, those nuances are so important.
And get this, the video even quotes the Quran on this. Surah An-Nahl 16.43. Ask those who have knowledge if you do not know.
Emphasizing going to qualified people.
Yeah, traditionally, that's always been human scholars. So can a machine really replicate that judgment, that wisdom, that spiritual understanding?
Makes you wonder.
Maybe AI could be a tool for scholars, but replacing them altogether seems risky.
I'd say so.
So even with something as complex as fatwas, it sounds like AI could be helpful, but not a replacement for human scholarship.
More like an assistant.
Exactly, enhancing what humans do, not erasing them.
Makes sense.
And the video's conclusion on this whole halal or haram question is actually really balanced. It says it depends on how AI is used.
So not a yes or no answer.
Right. Just because we can use it doesn't mean we should. It all comes down to whether it's being used according to Islamic principles.
So it's about being thoughtful and responsible about how we use AI.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to explore more next time. So stay tuned. Okay. So we've talked about the potential of AI in Islam, but what about like real world stuff? How is AI being used by Muslims today?
Well, AI is already out there in a lot of parts of Muslim life,
Yeah.
even in ways you might not realize.
Really? Like what?
Well, or take education, for example. There are AI platforms that can tailor Islamic lessons to a student's learning style.
Oh, wow. So like a personal tutor in an app.
Yeah, kind of. It adapts to how you learn best. Pretty cool, huh?
That is cool. But is that even possible? Can AI really personalize Islamic teaching that much? I mean, what about the downsides of relying on AI for this?
It's a good question. And the technology is definitely still developing, but there are some promising things out there. Like imagine AI tutors that can figure out if you're struggling with a concept and then adjust the lesson,
Oh, that's neat.
right? Or platforms that can track how you learn and then recommend resources just for you.
That would be super helpful.
But of course, it also makes you think about human teachers. Right?
Yeah, their role is so important.
Absolutely. It's not about replacing that connection between teacher and student, but maybe AI can make it even better.
Yeah, finding that balance, right? AI can be a tool, but it shouldn't take over.
Exactly. And it makes me think about what we talked about before with AI interpreting the Quran. That seems like something that needs a human touch.
Yeah, all that context and nuance.
Right? AI is great with data and finding patterns, but with something as complex as the Quran, humans are still essential.
Because we get the deeper meaning.
Think of it this way. AI could maybe help scholars by scanning tons of Islamic texts and finding relevant passages.
Oh, so like a research assistant.
Yeah, but the human scholar would still be the one to understand and interpret it.
Because they have the knowledge and wisdom.
Exactly, and that's not just in education and scholarship either. AI is showing up in other areas of Muslim life too.
Oh, like where? Tell me more.
Well, healthcare for one, AI can help analyze medical images to help doctors diagnose diseases.
Whoa, that's kind of sci-fi.
It is, but it's becoming more common. They're even working on AI systems that can personalize treatment plans based on your genes and lifestyle.
That's wild. So AI could be involved in everything from finding out what's wrong to figuring out how to treat it?
It's pretty amazing. And it's not just about complicated medical stuff either. Think about those apps that help Muslims find prayer times and the direction of
Oh,
Mecca.
I've used this. They're so handy when you're traveling.
Exactly. They use your location and do all these calculations to make sure you're praying at the right time, even if you're in a totally new place.
Simple, but so useful.
Right. And it's not just individual stuff. Either AI can be used for good in the whole Muslim community.
Like what?
Well, some Muslim organizations are using AI to look at social media and fight Islamophobia.
Oh, wow. So using technology to fight hate speech.
Yeah, these AI systems can learn to spot hateful language and misinformation about Muslims and then flag it for removal.
That's incredible. So AI can actually help promote understanding and tolerance.
It can, and it shows how AI can be used for positive social change, not just algorithms and data.
It challenges that idea that technology and faith are at odds.
I think that's a really important point. AI is a tool like any other. It's up to us to use it for good.
So it's not about being afraid of AI, it's about understanding it and making sure it's used responsibly.
Exactly. And that brings us back to the big question, can AI really be a force for good in the Muslim world?
And what do you think? After seeing all these real-world examples,
I think the answer is yes, but it's a yes with a condition.
what do you mean?
I mean that AI's potential for good depends on how we use it. It has to be aligned with our values as Muslims and as human beings.
So we have to be thoughtful about how we develop and use it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need to make sure AI respects human dignity and helps create a fairer world.
Like that moral compass we talked about.
Exactly. And this is where everyone comes in. It's not just for tech people or religious leaders. It's a conversation for the whole Muslim community and beyond.
Because AI is going to impact all of us.
All right, so we need to stay informed, talk about it, and be part of shaping the future of AI.
So basically, we can't just sit back and watch. We have to be active participants.
Exactly. We need to understand the different viewpoints,
Yeah.
think critically, and make sure AI is being used in a way that benefits everyone.
This has been so insightful. I feel like we've covered so much.
We have. It's clear that AI is already having a huge impact on the Muslim world, and it's only going to get bigger.
It's both exciting and a little scary.
I agree. But I'm feeling hopeful about the potential for AI to do good, especially after seeing these examples.
Me too. It's about approaching AI with curiosity, but also with our values at the forefront.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this part of our deep dive. But before we go, we want to leave you with one final thought to consider as we move into this future with AI and Islam.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential of AI in the Muslim world, and we've seen how it's already being used. But before we wrap up, I think we need to step back and look at the bigger picture here. This whole AI and Islam thing, it feels like it goes deeper than just technology, you know?
Oh, absolutely. It definitely raises those big questions about what it means to be human, about knowledge ethics, and how faith fits into a world that's changing so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a conversation that we're just starting, and we all need to be a part of it.
What do you mean by that? Like, how can we actually be a part of it? It's easy to feel like AI is this huge thing that's happening to us, not something we can actually influence.
And that's why it's so important to learn about it, to talk about it, and to really engage with these issues. We
Yeah.
can't just sit back and watch. I remember how the video talked about different views on AI and fatwas, something it could help scholars. Some are worried about it.
Hmm.
It's up to us to understand those different sides, to think critically, and to add our own voices to the conversation.
So it's not about just saying yes or no to AI. It's about asking those tough questions and figuring out the good and the bad, and then making choices about how AI is used in our communities right now.
Exactly like we talked about with Islamic finance. Just because some AI investment tool exists doesn't automatically mean it's okay. We
Right.
have to apply that same critical thinking to AI in every part of our lives.
So we need to have that Islamic lens when we're looking at AI.
Exactly. Remember what the video said about Islamic business ethics. No cheating, no taking advantage. Humans have to be responsible. Those principles should guide us with AI in every area.
Like having a moral compass for this whole AI world.
Exactly. And it's not just about avoiding the bad stuff. It's also about using AI for good. We've seen how it can personalize education, make healthcare better, even fight Islamophobia. Those are powerful examples of AI making a positive difference.
And that brings us back to that final point in the video, the idea of AI helping Islamic scholars without replacing them. Imagine AI giving us access to so much knowledge, but humans still making those final decisions.
That idea of working together really resonated with me. It's like AI and human intelligence teaming up to understand our faith better, to promote justice, and to make the world a more compassionate and enlightened place.
That's a beautiful vision. So where do we go from here? We've had this deep dive, we've unpacked this video, but what about our listeners? What can they actually do to be part of this and to make sure AI aligns with Islamic values?
I think the most important thing is to stay curious, keep learning, and be part of the conversation. Read about AI, go to events, talk to your friends and family, share your thoughts, and don't be afraid of how complex this topic is.
Embrace the complexity. Yeah.
Exactly. Ask those tough questions, challenge what you think you know, and really think about how AI can be used to benefit everyone.
And remember, this isn't just for tech experts or scholars, it's for all of us. The future of AI is something we're all going to create together.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So to wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave everyone with this. The future isn't something that just happens to us, we make it. And we have the power to create a future where AI and Islam work together to build a better world for all of us.
I love that. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our journey. It's been amazing exploring this with you.
It really has. And to all our listeners, thank you so much for joining us. Keep those minds open and remember the future of AI is in our hands.